Welcome back to Donkey Kong Country. We're still going through the water world, and I think we'll be finishing it up this part, so yay.
Did somebody say Waterworld?
Yep, we already did.
Kevin Costner will do the nostalgic throwback eventually, because if Bubsy can get one, Waterworld certainly can. It doesn't even seem to matter if your property was initially successful. It's just, did it exist? And then there's a market for nostalgia. For
Bubsy wasn't even marketing toward nostalgia. It was marketing toward people who, like, laughed at the idea of getting a new Bubsy game.
Yeah,
But
so
it worked.
maybe if Waterworld was more of a meme, then it would have a chance, because it's not really much of a... Yeah.
I mean, when Sonic gets a new game, it's because people want another new game after having a bajillion not good games. When Bubsy gets a new game, it's because people want a bad game. Unfortunately, all they got was a semi-decent one, so no one got what they wanted there.
It would have been hilarious if the new Bubsy games were actually, like, amazing, like top-tier platformers. But I don't think anybody expected that. But the fact that they're just kind of is also disappointing, because you can't even make a good YouTube video out of it. It's just like,
No.
it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
just
a thing.
It's just a thing that the publisher, had done for a quick buck.
You see,
Yep, to cash in on memes.
You see, I'm not normally the part of the crowd that would say, oh, this thing, which is mediocre, is worse than this thing that is bad, because you can at least laugh at the thing that's bad. Like, I don't normally prescribe to that mindset.
Oops.
Because at the end of the day, I'd still rather play a mediocre game than a bad one, because bad is bad and mediocre is just mediocre. But when your game is just a meme, then I feel like it's a different story. Because literally, what other reason does your game have to exist?
The unfortunate thing is that Bubsy was originally supposed to be good, and they put effort into the character, but they put effort into virtually nothing else. That's a lie. Some of the character animations and stuff are nice, but...
They didn't put a lot of effort.
Well, I mean, you can't say Bubsy didn't try. It didn't succeed, but it certainly tried.
It's, Bubsy is, to be brutally frank, the first bad Sonic fan game.
You're not wrong.
What about San Mari?
I don't know how...
I'm pretty sure Bubsy beats San Mari.
Because that was pretty old, right? That was a 90's, like, rip-off game, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you're probably right.
I'm pretty sure Bubsy beats San Mari.
Yeah, Bubsy
Definitely.
probably did. Which is sad, actually.
Now, when people say that they'd rather have sprite-based games than, 3D games, I keep thinking, yeah, but, sometimes developers actually do some interesting things with the 2.5D stuff. And, I think that Tropical Freeze here occasionally does do some interesting things with the 2.5D stuff.
Oh, the games certainly look very, very nice. Like, the visual polish is apparent even in the Wii game, which looks probably about as good as you can expect a 2.5 platformer on the Wii to look. Like, the textures are all very good, and it has a pretty striking art style and all that. I mean, I don't really... If I'm playing a 3D platformer... You know what? Actually, I want more 2.5D platformers to try to do what Kirby 64 and Klonoa did, where you're in a truly 3D environment, but moving on a 2D plane with the dynamic camera angles and stuff, rather than just having it feel very flat, like I mean,
everything is left to right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it doesn't feel as flat as, like, New Super Mario Brothers or something, but, Kirby 64 left a big impression on me, and from what I've seen of Klonoa, it has a lot of the same feel.
The environments go up, down, all around, that kind of thing. You're going left to right, but left to right might mean around to the background at some point, or into the foreground, that kind of thing. It's a
pandemonium.
It's a cool effect when it's done right, but this game doesn't do that kind of thing much, I don't think, and I don't think. I think there's like only like one specific place where like Ritual of the Night will try to do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, the tower
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing about it is that the games that tried to do that, the two examples I can think of are Klonoa and Kirby, but there are probably others. It's because those are 2D games that wanted to feel like 3D games, whereas I think the mindset now is that these are 3D games that want to feel like 2D games, and so that's why there's the very static perspective.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of the time.
Klonoa was one of the earlier quote-unquote 3D platformers, and they were still experimenting with how to use 3D graphics in a platformer. And one of the things that you'll see a lot in those early games is like, okay, 3D is a bit tough to control, so let's not have 3D control, but let's use the 3D graphics because wow. And that's how you get games like Pandemonium, which is a pretty good game, by the way. I like Pandemonium, but still, you get my point.
Pandemonium was a good game.
Yeah.
What's that game about?
Some lady and a jester open up a magic book, summon a demon which eats a town, and now they have to go clean up their mess.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it like a platformer?
Yeah, it's a platformer.
Okay.
It's interesting in the context of old platformers because it's one of the few that went with like realistically proportioned human characters. It's still a cartoony game, but it's more of an adult cartoony game than a child cartoony game.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the art right now, and yeah, that's pretty interesting.
And then it got a sequel which tried way too hard to be sexy.
Oh yeah, because there's a girl in it, and oh yeah, she's already wearing a bikini. Whereas in the first one, she's got like her midriff showing, but it's an actual like outfit.
And if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, in the second one, the clown got buff.
Yeah.
The jester got buff.
Oh yeah, the jester does look buff on the box art. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
Pandemonium 2 unfortunately suffered from a serious case of 90s tryhard. It was one of those games that was really trying to cash into the trends of the time.
Yeah, that outfit looks very Lara Croft, so I can imagine.
That's almost an insult to Lara Croft because the old Tomb Raider games actually do have some good costume design. Because Lara would go to like different locations, and in the later games they would change her outfit up to match where she was going, rather than doing what they did in the first game and just having her show up in short shorts and a tank top in the fucking snowy mountains. I don't understand. That was the first thing we saw of Lara Croft.
You know, I think they might have tried to do that to make it feel more like a James Bond kind of thing, but, you know, just with a girl instead of James Bond.
I'm pretty sure they did it because they only made one character model and then decided belatedly that they wanted the first level to be in the snowy mountains.
Oh, no, I'm more talking about them changing costumes over and over
Oh,
again,
yeah.
because that's a James Bond kind of thing. And, I mean, I guess, you know, Lara Croft is more trying to be Indiana Jones than James Bond. They took a lot of inspiration from
What
that.
a lot of people don't give the old Lara Croft games credit for, because of surface level impressions, is that they were really trying to push the envelope in a lot of ways, and graphics were one of them. I mean, we hear a lot of jokes about Lara Croft's triangle boobs in the PlayStation 1 days, but that really only applies to the first game. I remember watching PlayStation Underground like videos of development for Tomb Raider 3 and being like legitimately wowed by the stuff that they were showing off, which was, you know, like they talked about how they'd increase the poly count on the models, yes, but they also talked about how they worked the lighting engine for atmosphere and all, and how they like built levels and positioned things. And this seems all like basic shit right now, but you know, are you out of air?
Yep, I just took a dance, but it fills your air, so.
Okay.
So if you take a point of so if you run out of air, you take a point of damage, and your air refills after that.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. That's actually...
I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but it's a decent game mechanic, so.
Oh, you know, it makes sense from a game design standpoint. We're playing as a monkey in a tie. I think we can...
You know, the monkey in the tie isn't really that unrealistic, considering how often people like to dress up their animals. And I'm like 90% sure that no dog actually likes getting put into a costume for human entertainment. Everybody's like, oh, look, the dog's wearing a hat, it's so cute. And the dog's probably like, please take this off me. I want to be able to scratch my ear and lick my own butt. Please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes, there are legitimately functional clothing items for animals. Like, if you're going to be riding a horse for some reason in the rain, you will probably want to put some kind of blanket over him so that it's not
Yeah.
completely wet.
Yeah, I've heard of like dogs and cats having like specific kind of boots so that their feet don't get cold when they're out walking or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially depending on, the breed and whether or not, they're designed to handle that kind of thing. Actually, it might have been like hot pavement that they're specifically designed for because,
Yeah.
the ground naturally being like over 100 degrees is something that only animals that are like volcanic have evolved to deal with. So it can like burn their feet.
Mm.
My family's old dog, before she got too old, she had a sweater that she loved to wear because she was losing hair on her back, and it kept her warm.
Yeah, so that kind of thing does happen. I'm not saying that the animal wouldn't be horribly uncomfortable because they don't understand what it's for, but you know. Anyway,
Those fish are so doofy looking.
I like the
They're
buzz.
also doofy looking.
I like the buzzsaw fish. That's like we were just talking about 90's Try Hard, weren't we?
On the bright side, we did get a remake of Lockjaw's Locker from DKC 2, which is nice.
Oh, I thought this music sounded familiar. I haven't even really played all that much of Donkey Kong Country 2. I played far less than I played of Donkey Kong Country 1.
It's
That's for sure.
probably overall the best one still, I feel.
Oh dear.
I will say 2 does the most. And it does keep the pace up a lot better than the other 2 games.
I
because-
remember I quit for a very petty reason, and that was because I didn't like having to pay coins in order to save. I was like, I don't want to have to do that. Meh, meh, meh.
So it's hard to tell in cartoon mode. Is this supposed to be a giant squid or a giant octopus?
Doesn't really matter.
I think octopus, because it looks like it's
It's-
got, yeah, that's an octopus because
That's
it's
an
got
octopus.
all of the arms, like, on the center rather than 2 of them extra going out. I don't know how much sense that made.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, Ryan, but I'd like to know the answers to these questions because the art designers really should have an answer.
Yeah, I think it's an octopus because of the shape of the tentacles.
I think it's an octopus more. Well, yeah, it's an octopus based on the shape of the tentacles, but also the shape of the head.
Octopi are freaky little creatures. They can fit into anything because they have
as
no
lo-
bones.
As long as their beak can fit through the hole, they can fit into any location.
That's so scary. Like, imagine you're going to microwave something, and then suddenly an octopus pops out, like a giant goddamn octopus just like plops out of there. That would terrify me.
I went scalloping with my family one time and found a scallop shell, and it was closed, and thought it was an actual scallop. Nope, octopus.
What the? An
Yep.
octopus fit in? Oh my god.
Yup, it held the shell shut, and when we finally opened it, it decided it wanted to try and attack, even though it was the size of a gumball.
Oh my god. Freaking
Octopi.
octopi, man.
Man. But you kind of were the home invaders in that situation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not really. That's like complaining about the police breaking into your abandoned warehouse that you decided to hole up in. I mean, it wasn't yours to begin with. It was the scallops.
The scallop discarded it. It's like that television you find on the curb in someone's trash. It's like, yeah, they're throwing it away. It's mine now.
Well,
Well, the octopus. Well, I was going to say the octopus probably ate the scallop.
Yeah, because if a scallop loses its shell, it's dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
so the octopus probably broke into that guy's house and then took the TV out, put it in the trash, and said, hey, this is mine now.
Oh, a scallop's one of those. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a type of clam. Or a clam's a type of scallop. I don't know.
How does this hurt the octopus? It's in the background.
It's a game.
It didn't want to take its tentacles into the background because it's a lazy fuck.
It's a bomb. It explodes into the background. I'm sure the background is
Just
in the
stop.
is in the blast radius. What?
You know, sometimes that actually does happen for 2.5D games, like Smash Brothers. There's a glitch that allows you to rotate your characters into the Z-axis, and so if you try to do certain moves, they'll
still
miss.
hit, yeah.
Well, they'll miss because they're going forward towards the camera as opposed to left or right to hit where the characters are.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, with that glitch, Palutena's Black Hole Final Smash can't touch you at all.